Joining us live to discuss this is a general practitioner, Dr. Esien Ukorebi. He joins us virtually from the United Kingdom. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
So let me just start by asking you how significant this is, because it is also coming at a time where Cape Verde has been declared malaria-free. So how significant is this for not just for Cameroon, but for the African continent?
Well, I think it's a very exciting and life-changing news for, as you rightly said, not just Cameroon, who has become the first country to start the world's first routine vaccine program against malaria, but also for the African continent at large. You know, the vaccine process has been on for nearly 40 years now. So to see it, you know, come to actualization, I think is a thing to celebrate for the African continent, because Africa carries a disproportionately high share of the burden of malaria, with 95% of the cases globally coming from Africa. So I think it is really significant. I mean, when we hear the number of people that die from malaria, 600,000 every year, people die from malaria in Africa. And out of that number, 80% are children under the age of 5. So I think this is quite significant for the continent, quite significant for our young children as well. And also Nigeria, it is very important for us as well, because Nigeria carries the highest burden of malaria globally, with about 27% of the global cases emanating from Nigeria. So with this vaccine, I think the future is really bright for Nigeria and for Africa as a continent.
How bright is that future when you consider the fact that it is known to be effective in at least 36% of cases, which means that it has just the ability to save 1 in 3 lives. And many people have talked about that low efficacy rate. So this is really not a silver bullet, is it?
It is not, but I would say that it is a stepping stone, and it's a great feat that has been achieved. 30% seems small. Well, I think 1 in 3 people, saving 1 in 3 people, I think is a good place to start from. And also, if you combine this 30% efficacy rate with using things like your mosquito net, you know, the malaria medication, you know, these 3 in combination can actually save up to 90% of children from developing severe malaria. So it's not just about the vaccine. We still have, you know, the mosquito nets. We still have our malaria prophylaxis medication and our malaria treatment medication. So it's a combined effort of these 3 things, and we can achieve even a higher efficacy if you'd like.
You talked earlier about the future is bright for Africa. How soon should we begin to see results from this particular vaccine in terms of the malaria burden in Africa?
I mean, of course, these things take time. Clinical trials have been, you know, done in a few African countries, and, you know, the result has been good. And I think if we start to roll out this vaccine quickly enough in Africa, I think in the next few years we should start to see the trend go down as opposed to the trend rising. Because if you look at the last 3 years, we have had an increasing trend in the burden of malaria in Africa. So in the next 5 years, we should start seeing, you know, a change in that trend, you know, with the numbers coming down, as well as the death rate from malaria coming down as well. I think what's important is that countries accept this vaccine and, you know, they roll it out to their population and their under 5s and include it to their vaccination program. And I think this will do the continent a great deal of good.
And as it will also seem as though since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen an increase in vaccine hesitancy. And that's also playing out in Cameroon. A lot of people, a lot of the citizens there are saying, look, it will seem as though they are being used as guinea pigs. What is the challenge now? Is it that government is not doing enough sensitization? How can this be addressed?
I mean, with most vaccinations, even in Nigeria, a lot of sensitization, a lot of education of the public is needed to ensure that these people know how important, you know, this vaccine is, to ensure that they know that this vaccine has, you know, undergone the different stages of clinical trials, and it is safe. Because many people are concerned about their children, as you can imagine, they want to have the best for them. So if they have concerns about safety of any drug or any vaccine, then the uptake would be low. So I think the government has a lot of work to do in terms of sensitization, education of the citizens, the parents, to ensure that the uptake of this vaccine increases. And I think if that's done at the grassroots level, most importantly, that would give us.
All right, thank you so much. We'll be speaking with General Practitioner Dr. Esien Ukorebi on the malaria vaccine now being rolled out for children in Cameroon. Thank you, Dr. Ukorebi, for talking to us.